Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. Before I say a single word, I want you to stop. I want you to think about the last time you met someone new, a neighbor, a new friend at church, someone your daughter introduced you to, or maybe a man. And within the first few seconds, something moved inside you. Not a thought, not a decision. Something older than thought, a feeling right here. That feeling has a name. It has a science. And today we are going to honor it together. Here is something most people will never tell you. Human beings are extraordinarily good at hiding who they really are for exactly long enough to matter. We have all met someone who seemed lovely, charming, attentive, said all the right things. And later we thought to ourselves, I knew something was off. I felt it. Why didn't I listen? This is not a video about fear. This is not a warning to distrust everyone. This is a conversation about one of the most powerful gifts you were born with. Your intuition, your body's ancient intelligence, the sanctuary of self-knowledge that lives right at the center of your chest. And here is my promise to you. By the end of this conversation, you will never walk into a first meeting the same way again, not with suspicion, but with grace and clarity and power, because you have walked this earth for 55, 60, 65, 70 years or more. You have raised children, buried parents, survived heartbreak, rebuilt yourself from the ground up. You are not naive. You are not fragile. You are wise. And it is time to trust that wisdom completely. Your intuitions is not a glitch in your nervous system. It is the most sophisticated alarm system ever built. And it was installed at birth. The question was never whether to trust it. The question is whether you've given yourself permission to let me share something with you that changed the way I understood myself. Psychologists and neuroscientists have studied what happens in the human brain during a first encounter. And what they found is astonishing. Within 7 seconds of meeting someone, your brain has already formed a comprehensive first impression, not a shallow judgment, a deep biological assessment. Your nervous system is asking, is this person safe? Is this person honest? Does something here require my attention? This assessment doesn't happen in your prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain. It happens in the limbic system, the emotional brain, the mammalian brain, the part that kept our ancestors alive on the open plains. You are not overreacting when something feels off about a person. You are not being dramatic. You are being human, gloriously, powerfully human. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and it is doing it brilliantly. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this. How many times in your life have you felt that quiet knowing, that whisper in your gut, and talked yourself out of it? Oh, I'm probably reading too much into it. Maybe I'm just tired. I don't want to seem rude. She seems so nice. I see you nodding. We have all been there, every single one of us. Because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that our feelings were inconvenient, that being perceptive was the same as being unkind, that good women give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And that belief has cost us. It has cost us friendships we should have walked away from. Relationships we should have never entered, opportunities for healing we delayed for years. But we are not here today to look back with regret. We are here to look forward with wisdom. We are here to give ourselves full permission to trust what we know. Every time you override your instinct to seem polite, agreeable, or not difficult, you are not being kind. You are abandoning yourself. And you, my dear, have been abandoned by others enough. It is time to stop being the one who does it. In the next part of our time together, I want to walk you through 7 specific psychological signals. These are not tricks. They are not manipulation tactics. They are the language your body has always been speaking. And today, we learn to listen before a single word is exchanged, and then sometimes even during words that seem perfectly friendly, you may notice a change in your own body, a slight tightening in your shoulders, a subtle urge to step back even an inch, your breath becoming shallower without your permission. This is your nervous system registering a frequency that your conscious mind hasn't cataloged yet. Pay attention to how you feel in your body after an interaction, not just during it. Does this person leave you feeling expanded, lighter, energized, more yourself? Or contracted, smaller, tired, vaguely unsettled? Energy doesn't lie. It never has. This is not about labeling people as good or bad. It is about recognizing what is true for you. Some people, through no fault of anyone, are simply not meant to be in your sanctuary. There is something that eyes do in authentic connection that cannot be faked for long. They rest when someone is genuinely present with you. Their eyes aren't calculating. They aren't performing. They aren't measuring you for what you can give them. They are simply with you. But when someone's eyes are restless, when they flicker away too often, when they scan the room while speaking to you, when there is a subtle vacancy behind the warmth, your body notices. And what your body is registering is this person is not fully here, which raises the quiet question, where are they? You deserve the full presence of the people in your life, not their divided attention, not their performative care. They're real, breathing here in this moment presence. This is one of the most revealing psychological cues of all, and almost no one talks about it. When you finish speaking, when you leave a natural pause in conversation, watch what the other person does with that silence. Do they rush to fill it immediately? Do they jump to redirect the conversation to themselves? Or do they sit in the pause with you? Do they let what you said actually land before responding? The people who can sit in silence with you, who are not threatened by space, not scrambling to perform, those people have done inner work. They have built something in themselves called emotional capacity. And in a world of endless noise and distraction, that capacity is one of the rarest forms of love you will ever encounter. We all love a sincere compliment. It fills something real in us, and that is perfectly human, but there is a particular and kind of flattery that feels, even as you're receiving it, like something is being asked of you that you haven't yet been told. Psychologists call certain people high monitors. Psychologists skilled who are acutely skilled at reading what others want to hear and giving it to them strategically. Flattery that comes too quickly, too specifically, too perfectly calibrated to your vulnerabilities. That is not admiration. That is a flashlight aimed at your boundaries. Pay attention, and I want to say something here very gently. If you have ever been charmed by someone who later hurt you, please hear this. That was not your failure of intelligence. That was someone else's failure of character. You were not gullible, you were generous. And generosity is not a flaw, it is a grace. But even grace needs boundaries. Genuine admiration waits for you to earn it. But manipulation arrives fully formed, wearing exactly the face you most hope to see. Your gut knows the difference. Even when your heart is still deciding, this is perhaps the simplest and most reliable psychological cue in human interaction. Listen to how a new person speaks about the people who are not in the room, about their ex-husband, about their estranged daughter, about a former friend who betrayed them, about every boss they've ever had who somehow impossibly turned out to be the problem. I am not asking you to judge. People have real wounds, real grievances, real losses, but pay attention to the pattern. Is this person capable of telling their story without casting everyone else as a villain? Can they say, I made mistakes in that relationship too? Can they hold complexity? Because here's what is true, and I say it with all the love in my heart. How someone speaks about others when they're not present is a mirror, and someday you will be the person in that mirror. If this is speaking to your heart right now, pause this video. Think of one sister, one friend, one woman in your life who has been hurt by not listening to herself. Send this to her with a simple note. This made me think of you. You are worth protecting. That act of love costs you nothing and might change everything for her. Within the first meeting, a certain kind of person will test your boundaries. Not dramatically, not obviously, just slightly. They'll ask a question that is 1 degree too personal. They'll make a small joke at your expense and watch your reaction. They'll share something just slightly inappropriate and see if you match their energy. What they are doing is checking for the door. They are asking, does this woman have limits? Does she enforce them? Or can I gradually, gently, kindly push further? People with healthy boundaries do something extraordinary. They hold those limits with such grace, such warmth, such lack of hostility, that they make it look like love, because it is love, love of self. And that, my friend, is a sanctuary no one else can build for you. A boundary is not a wall. A wall keeps everyone out. A boundary is a gate. It has a lock, yes, but you hold the key, and you, darling, get to decide who is worthy of the garden inside. Your gut does not only read words. It reads the music underneath the words, the slight hesitation before answering a simple question, the over-explanation when something should be simple, the laugh that comes just a half beat too soon, the story that shifted slightly the second time it was told. Your nervous system is a master musician. It has been listening to the symphony of human behavior your entire life. And it registers a wrong note even before you can name what key you're in. That slight something is off feeling. That is not paranoia. That is your lifetime of pattern recognition asking for your attention. You have earned this knowing. 60 plus years of watching people, of navigating complexity, of loving and losing and rebuilding. Please do not discount that for politeness. Please do not override that to seem nice. Please do not abandon yourself again. At some point in every wise woman's life, she stops asking, why do I feel this way? And starts trusting that her feelings are the answer, not the question. That shift, that quiet, powerful shift, I want to take a moment here and speak to something deeper, because for many of us, and I am speaking now to the women who have people pleased their entire lives, learning to trust our gut is not just a skill. It is a healing. Many of us were raised by women who had learned to make themselves small in order to be safe. And women who were taught that their discomfort was less important than someone else's comfort. Women who modeled a kind of self-erasure that they never meant to pass on. And if that is your story, if you absorbed that lesson before you were old enough to question it, I want you to know that was not your fault, and healing it is not your burden. It is your birthright. I want to offer you a practice. After your next first meeting with someone, take 5 quiet minutes and ask yourself 3 questions. 1, how does my body feel right now compared to before that conversation? 2, what was the first thing I felt before my mind started explaining it away? 3, if I were to honor that feeling, what would I do differently next time? This is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. This is about becoming a better friend to yourself, about building a relationship with your own inner knowing so sturdy, so loving, so practiced, that when the important moments come, you will not hesitate. The woman who has made peace with her own perception is difficult to manipulate, impossible to diminish, and extraordinarily free. She does not need everyone to like her. She needs to be able to look herself in the eye. That is enough. That is everything. There is a Brene Brown quote that has lived in my heart for years. She writes about the courage to be seen, the terrifying, liberating act of showing up as yourself and allowing others to respond honestly. And I want to add to that, there is equal courage in allowing yourself to see others clearly. Trusting your gut does not mean judging people harshly. Psychological awareness does not mean psychological distance. Discernment is not the same as suspicion. The goal is not to meet every new person as if they're a threat to be assessed. That is exhausting, and it closes us to some of life's most beautiful surprises. The goal is to stay connected to yourself while you open to others, to remain the author of your own story, even as you share it. Some first meetings will feel like morning light, easy, natural, like you've always known this person. That is a gift. Receive it with joy. Do not interrogate what feels beautiful. And some first meetings will feel like a slight chill. Nothing dramatic, nothing certain, just cool. That is information too. Hold it gently. You do not need to act on it immediately. You simply need to remember it. You do not owe anyone an immediate verdict. You not owe anyone access before you are ready. You do not owe anyone the demolition of your boundaries in exchange for their approval. You owe yourself honesty, grace, and time. Discernment is not the opposite of love. It is love's most protective form. It says, I care enough about this relationship to see it clearly. I honor myself enough to be honest. I trust life enough to let the right people in and to gently, graciously show the wrong ones the door. Before I close this conversation, I want to take us somewhere even more personal, because the most important first meeting you will ever have is not with another person. It is with yourself. There is a version of you that has been waiting for you to fully arrive, to stop explaining yourself, to stop apologizing for your needs, to stop measuring your worth by how well you are received. She has been waiting in the quiet of early mornings, in the space between the deep breaths you sometimes forget to take, in the knowing you keep dismissing. I want to say something I don't think we say to each other often enough. You are extraordinarily perceptive. You are extraordinarily worthy. And the fact that you are here, still growing, still learning, still asking these questions, that is not ordinary. That is remarkable. Every scar you carry is a credential. Every heartbreak you've survived is a testimony. Every boundary you've finally learned to hold is a homecoming. And every time you trust that quiet voice in your gut, that ancient, faithful, steady voice, you are coming home to yourself. The wisest woman in any room is not the one who has never been fooled. She is the one who was fooled